Well, James Harden's name has been thrown into MVP talks, and the Beard believes it is warranted. After dropping 44 points against Detroit over the weekend, Harden said, quote, "I feel like I am the MVP," when he was asked if he belonged in the conversation. Shannon, has Harden taken the MVP lead, in your opinion?
No, but he's close. But if I'm a vote, I'm not giving him a first place vote because he did quit on the Houston Rockets. He did that. He showed up late. He was in quarantine when he knew he wasn't supposed, when he broke quarantine protocols, when he knew he wasn't supposed to be. He showed up late for training camp, and he basically quit on his team. I have Nikola Jokic. I have Jokic. 27 points, 11 rebounds, 8.5 assists. Top 10 in scoring and rebound assists, and the Nuggets are now the 5th seed. I just can't ignore James Harden quitting on the Houston Rockets. Skip, but what Kyrie missing and KD missing has allowed James Harden to do is to do what he did in Houston, which is be the one-man show that he is. So I'm not seeing anything that I know how great James Harden has been. I know how great James Harden is. So what he's doing, Skip, I've seen the man get a 50-point triple-double. I've seen him get 60 points and have double-digit assists. So I'm not surprised by anything he's doing. I just can't ignore he quit on a team.
And the voters will not ignore that. He will not win the MVP. He is disqualified, and he should be the MVP favorite right here, right now. They are 24-9, are the Brooklyn Nets, since he joined them.
Yes.
And nobody has been more valuable than he has been, because there have been a lot of games with no KD and some games without Kyrie.
Well, hell, KD's only played, what, about 7 or 8 games with him?
So he's 17-5 as James Harden without KD. And in those games, he's 27-9-11. Without both of them, he's 4-2, and he's averaged 34-9-11.
That's Houston. That's Houston, James Harden.
Although the 9 is sensational.
Right.
He is playing his tail off for this team. Without Kyrie, he's 6-2, averaging 34-9-12. What? Nobody has been more valuable to keep his team afloat, because they're still only one game back of the Sixers in the East. One game back.
Right.
Well, it's the James Harden show. He has taken his game to one more level that I didn't think he had.
I think the thing is, Skip, now is that, yeah, he had great shooters, but Joe Harris, Landry Shamet at TLC, he has guys that, like you said, and when he had Kyrie, he had like 4 or 5 guys that could knock down shots, not just Eric Gordon. I mean, Danielle House, and he had a few other guys, Ben McLemore. But the guys that he had at Brooklyn are better shooters from distance than the guys that he had in Houston. You look at the numbers, Skip, the numbers is what he averaged. Remember, he averaged 36 for a season. He averaged 35. He's averaged 32. So James Harden getting 30 points without those guys being on the court is not surprising, because that's what he does.
But he's running away with the assist title. Yes. Right?
But we've seen him, Skip. We've seen him.
Won one before.
Yes.
Okay. But to me, even I watched Friday night, and I couldn't turn it off. Ernestine's saying, "Well, come on, we got to eat. We got to do something." I said, "Did you see what this man, the show he's putting on? It was at Detroit."
Yeah.
Detroit can be semi-dangerous at home, so they hung in. And James goes 44, 14, and 8. And I immediately tweeted, that's the MVP right now. I don't see anybody playing at a higher level than he's playing.
And I was watching the game also, and he just kept getting better and better. You look at him in the first quarter, you're like, well, damn. First half, you're like, okay, it's not going to be, it's going to be one of those nights. And then the third quarter comes around, and he starts heating up. And then the fourth quarter comes around, and he gets even hot. He just, I don't know, his ability to just score the basketball, you look up and you don't realize it. Like, damn, he had 40 points. He had this many rebounds, or he had 40 points, he had this many assists. He he just scored, that step-back 3. We've never seen anything like it, Skip. The step-back 3, his ability to get to the rim, now he's 85% from the free throw line, so you're at his mercy. You just hope he miss. You just hope he miss.
This is genius at work.
Yeah.
Seriously. And it's not the greatest looking body, so he sort of plays above his physique, you know, like you're saying.
It's Skip, he leads the league in minutes. He's averaging 38 minutes a game.
Leads the league in minutes. And he plays hard every minute.
I don't know how he does it, but like you said, it's unbelievable what he's doing.
Yep.
And his confidence is at an
I ain't got no problem with him saying that either.
I am the MVP. That's what he thinks. Guys, did Skip's Cowboys just lose a key piece of their defense in free agency?
No,
I hate to
lost
bring it
another
up.
one.
I hate to bring it up. Let me explain next.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy, and I won't back down.
Quite a lot of fun to see. While the Clippers are said to be interested in DeMarcus Cousins, the Lakers and Nets both added their own big men in the buyout market over the weekend. Marcus Aldridge signed with the Nets and will join forces with Harden, Kyrie, and KD after being bought out by the Spurs. And meanwhile, Andre Drummond joined LeBron James and the Lakers in LA after his contract was bought out by the Cavs. And Frank Vogel said he believed the Lakers got, quote, a lot better with the signing. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard is with us. Chris, who won the buyout market in your opinion?
Well, look, they both did well. And I tell you what, the Lakers had better have gotten Andre Drummond after the Nets added LaMarcus Aldridge to go with Blake Griffin. So both improved their depth, their versatility, and they added, big-time talent, even if the Nets guys aren't in their prime. If I have to pick one team, I'm going with the Nets just because they got two players to the Lakers' one. And we understand neither Blake Griffin nor LaMarcus Aldridge is still in their prime. And to be honest, that's good because it wouldn't work. There's no way it would work if those two were still perennial all-star talents with the other three guys. It's just too many guys that will want and need the ball. But now that they understand their role players, I think they can help the Nets. Now, a big challenge for the Nets is going to be Steve Nash having to figure out how, when, and where to use these guys because they can go big with DeAndre Jordan and Aldridge or Blake at the 4 and KD at the 3. They can go small, which I really like their small possibilities of Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant at the 4 and the 5. But here's the thing, too, guys. Their most effective offensive lineup has been the small ball lineup with Jeff Green at center. But it's got problems defensively, as you might imagine. Now you can theoretically put Aldridge at your 5 and still play small because he can spread the floor. You saw him in the highlight. He has extended his range to three-point range. I'm not saying he's great, but he's adequate from three-point range. But yet on the other end, he gives you more rim protection. He's not Shaq or anything down there, but he does give you a little more interior defense than a Jeff Green would. So that small ball lineup should be better defensively. What they have to do, here's a key for the Nets. Aldridge and Blake have got to have the mentality that Dwight Howard had for the Lakers last year, where it's like, hey, I came here for one reason. That's to win a championship. It's not to put myself in position to make more money next year. It's not to come here and put up numbers. And there may be games and even series where I don't play a lot, depending on the matchups. But I still have to be engaged and supportive of my teammates. If they do that, man, it's going to be very hard. I don't know that anybody can stop them if they're fully healthy.
So you say you like Blake Griffin, bad knees, who plays every other night, and LaMarcus Aldridge. But I like the 27-year-old that's led the league in rebounding 3 of the last 4 years, who's averaging 18 and 14, who averages 13 rebounds for a career. So let me ask you a question. Of those three guys, Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge, currently, which is the better player? Chris, that's
one better player, probably Drummond, but Drummond's somewhat of a dinosaur, Shannon. You know that.
So,
he's a bit of a dinosaur.
So what is the guy that has bum knees that is no longer athletic? So what is he? Blake Griffin.
I tell you what, he's good with 3 stars on the floor with him because he had 17 points in 20 minutes the other night.
So what is Andre Drummond going to be?
All these role players, they're better with Harden and Kyrie on the floor, not to mention KD.
So what is
They're
Drummond?
They're going to get easy looks.
What is Drummond going to be with LeBron and AD?
Drummond will be good against Jokic and Rudy Gobert. He'll be huge for them. But there are going to be times where he's a defensive liability if the big man can take it outside and shoot threes, like Aldridge if he's at the 5.
Well, if Aldridge was doing that good, why would they get rid of him? But that's neither here nor there. I like what they did because they got a guy that can rebound. Like you say, at this juncture, Andre Drummond is a better rebounder than Dwight Howard at his age and JaVale McGee. No question about that. He's a better offensive weapon than those two guys, especially Dwight at his age. JaVale has really never been. Now, is he as good a defender as Dwight? That's debate. We can debate that with he and JaVale. But given those other two aspects, scoring the basketball, rebounding the basketball, he can rim protect, something that they did not have, something that Marc Gasol has turned into a liability, and Trez is too small. So I like what they bring to the table. They can play big. They can go AD. AD doesn't like to play the 5 except the last 5 minutes of the ball game. You go Drummond, you go AD, you go LeBron. And if you like